Committee meeting to order this morning. We have 24 bills to hear, 3 of which are eligible for a vote, and all the other items, remaining measures are suspense items. As usual, we're asking folks to keep their testimony to the fiscal aspects of the bill. We have a relatively short agenda today, members, so sergeants can please call the absent committee members and the following authors who are presenting bills so we can get started. Folks that are presenting are Senator Hernandez, Bell, Mitchell, Monning, Stone, and Pan. And so we're going to commence with establishing our quorum. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Here.
Laura here. Bates? Here. Bates here. Bell? Hill? Hill here. McGuire? McGuire here. Mendoza? Nielsen.
Thank you. We have quorum. We're going to, since we see no, I can do the claims bill.
Oh yeah, or you can do yours, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna introduce, present my claims bill, and also on behalf of Senator De Leon's bill. So pass the gavel to our Vice Chairwoman.
You may proceed, Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Good morning. This bill would appropriate approximately $4.4 million to the Victims' Compensation and Government Claims Board for the payment of 273 state claims. 267 of the claims are for reissuing state-dated warrants, which are state checks that were never cashed. The bill also includes general fund appropriations to pay for 6 claims related to the erroneous convictions of Obi Anthony, John Smith, Marco Milla, Larry I can't say that word, Polsnyder, there we go, Michael Smith, and Tommy Gant. The Department of Finance approved payment of these claims, all of which are valid obligations to the state. I respectfully ask for aye vote.
Witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance.
Jacqueline Wong Hernandez with the Department of Finance. We're in support of this bill.
Call. We have a motion. Would you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, aye. Bell? Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Mendoza? Nielsen.
What is it? It's on call.
It's on call.
Thank you.
For the members to arrive.
Madam Chairwoman, I'm also going to present on behalf of our Pro Tem De Leon on SB 1393.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. SB 1393 is a technical cleanup bill to last year's SB 350, the Clean Energy and Pollution Reduction Act, which establishes a 50% by 2030 renewable portfolio standard and doubled energy efficiency economy-wide by 2030. Again, this is a technical cleanup bill. Respectfully ask for aye vote.
Witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Department of Finance?
No file.
Any questions? I have just one, Senator Lara.
Sure.
Our analysis suggests that there'll be an increase in the cost of implementation fee. Policy-wise, we're very supportive, but on the fee issue, do you have an idea of what that might be? I think it would be important to understand that before it gets to the floor.
Madam Chair, I don't have that with me, but I'll make sure we clarify that for you before we take it to the floor. Thank you. I appreciate your understanding.
Any questions? Move the bill. Would you like to close? I forgot to ask you on the.
Thank you. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Go ahead, call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, aye. Bell? Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Mendoza? Nielsen.
4-0. Bill's on call.
Thank you. Well, we see Senator Monning here. Senator Monning, you have one item, SB 1073 members. Floor is yours.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members. This SB 1073 is a candidate for suspense, but I would like to present some information in addressing the dollar assessment from Department of Finance and in the analysis. Mr. Chair, members, Mr. Chair, particularly with the help of your staff, I have amended the bill significantly to streamline and simplify the language and to create a funding source for developing, initiating, and administering the program until it is self-sustaining. I question the stated ongoing cost to the Department of Public Health, estimated at $1.135 million annually beginning in 2017, since the fees generated by the program will offset these costs. Members, as you know, California has been a leader in its efforts to eliminate lead poisoning. In 2002, the legislature passed a law that defines damaged paint as a housing code violation in all pre-1978 housing units and child-occupied facilities, and it requires that lead-safe work practices be used to remove it. However, the law does not require that contractors receive any specified certified lead-safe work practices training. The federal government established regulations for lead in homes through the United States Environmental Protection Act's Renovation, Repair, and Painting Program rules in 2010. This RRP provides a definition for lead-safe work practices and requires all renovators and contractors who work on pre-1978 buildings to be certified after completing an 8-hour training course on lead-safe work practices by an accredited training provider and registering their firm with the EPA. The failure for California to oversee the certification process for work practices on lead paint performed within the state has resulted with a less protective environment for residents and children. Current data from the California Department of Public Health shows that approximately 19,000 cases of occupational lead poisoning were identified in 2014 attributable to work exposure, and another almost 31,000 cases, mostly children, were identified without specifying the source of the exposure. With the revisions I've made that are included in the amendments submitted to the committee, I'm modeling the language and approach the legislature used when the department's existing lead certifications were developed. At that time, the department borrowed $500,000 from the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Fund to develop and initiate the lead assessment and lead abatement certification programs. Once those programs started collecting fees, those fees went into the Lead-Related Construction Fund, or the LRCF. Once the Department of Finance determined that the LRCF had sufficient funds, it repaid the CLPPF without interest. I'm proposing the same process be used to establish the lead-safe work practices certification program's implementation. Though California's regulations are stricter than federal regulations, there is ambiguity and confusion by contractors about the differences, and this has resulted in less compliance with California's higher regulatory standards and practices. Furthermore, enforcement and accountability are almost non-existent. The reported cases of lead poisoning each year are proving our current methods for protecting children and residents are simply not sufficient. And there's no method of knowing how many cases of lead poisoning go undetected as well. Members, I urge you to pass my bill off the suspense file at the appropriate time, and appreciate your indulgence in letting me present this information based on the amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
I don't have a file on this bill. To my knowledge, we don't have an analysis yet on this bill, but we certainly haven't seen the amendments that the authors discussed, but we look forward to reviewing them.
And I did misspeak in referring to Department of Finance. It was the committee analysis that I was referring to, so my apology.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, Senator Monty, would you like to close?
At the appropriate time, would respectfully urge your aye vote. Lead poisoning is something we can't wait on. Thank you.
Thank you. Without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to Senator Wolk. Senator Wolk has a due pass recommendation on SB 1318. Whenever you're ready, Senator.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Senators. Over 1 million Californians don't have access to clean drinking water or adequate sanitation services. These are disadvantaged communities. They're often situated adjacent to brand-new developments that have modern, up-to-date amenities. 1318 will attempt to address the problem by requiring LAFCOs to identify and map these communities in their service areas, and then LAFCOs must develop a plan for delivering safe drinking water. The state costs for this, estimated in your analysis, are minor for the Office of for OPR to post the maps on their website. There have been a lot of concerns expressed about the bill, and we've been working with stakeholders, particularly with Cal LAFCO and others, to develop amendments that we hope we will be able to put forward very quickly. We will continue to work with them as the bill moves forward. Ask for your aye vote. And with me is Brian Augusta from California Rural Assistance Foundation to ask any questions.
Thank you.
Answer any questions.
Witnesses in support.
Good morning, members. Brian Augusta on behalf of the California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation. Just very briefly, there are tens of thousands of families living in disadvantaged, unincorporated communities who currently lack access to safe drinking water or wastewater, even though they are within or adjacent to a city that provides those services to their neighbors. A number of years ago, Senator Wolk did SB 244, which helped put these communities on the map. We're still working with cities and counties to do that mapping, but this builds that next step, which is how do we ensure as growth occurs that we don't leave these communities behind? And as the Senator said, we're continuing to work with the opponents to try to find a workable solution, but it's critical that we not only identify these communities, but we begin to deliver services. And this bill, with minimal state costs, will help to achieve that. And for that reason, we would urge an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. One additional witnesses in support.
Kyle Jones with Sierra Club, California, and also on behalf of Clean Water Action and support. Thank you.
Witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition, please come forward.
Mr. Chair and members, Kendra Harris with the League of California Cities. This bill is largely unworkable for us, and it would impose significant local costs that are not reimbursable to the state. And so for that and many other policy reasons, we remain opposed.
Thank you.
Valerie Nera for the California Chamber of Commerce. We're in opposition to the bill on policy reasons.
Jimmy McDonald, the California Special Districts Association, also in opposition.
Thank you. Finance.
We don't see any state-level costs to this bill, and we don't think that the mandate is reimbursable. We would concur with the committee's analysis about LAFCOs not being able to file for reimbursement with the commission.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? So then there's a motion by Senator Hill. Senator Wolk, would you like to close?
Yes, we will continue to work with the opposition and bring forward amendments that we hope will make the bill even stronger.
Thank you, Senator Wolk.
Ask for your aye vote.
This is a due pass recommendation. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates?
No.
Bates, no. Bell? Hill? Hill, aye. McGuire? McGuire, aye. Mendoza? Nielsen? Nielsen, no.
3-2, we'll put that on call to allow for AXA members to add on.
Thank you very
Senator
much.
Wolk. Do we see any other authors? Okay, we're gonna, since we don't see any other authors are presenting, we will dispense with those items which members have waived, beginning down our file, beginning with Senator Hernandez's items, SB 815. Members? Witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Finance?
No file.
No file. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to SB 960 by Senator Hernandez. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
No file. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to a suspense file. Senator Bell, are you presenting on your SB 879? We could do that now if you like. Thank you. Members, this is SB 879. Senator Bell, floor is yours.
Good morning, Chair and members. SB 879 is the Affordable Housing Bond Act of 2016. Now, over the last several months, actually over the last year and a half, the Senate Transportation and Housing Committee, which I serve as chair, held 3 informational hearings on housing and homelessness in California. We heard from academics, developers, advocates, and other housing experts, and the message could not have been more clear. California is in an affordable housing crisis, and the state needs to take bold action to add to the housing stock. SB 879, the Affordable Housing Bond Act, will add to available housing stock available to homeless individuals and hardworking families with low and moderate incomes by investing $3 billion in new construction, rehabilitation, and preservation housing. This bond act is modeled after Proposition 1C. This was passed in 2006, 10 years ago, which to date has led to the construction of 92,000 housing units. Similarly, 879 seeks to invest in critical existing housing programs, including multifamily housing programs, Cal Home, transit-oriented development, and farm worker housing program. Investment in these programs makes good economic sense and will create jobs and benefit local communities and have a positive fiscal impact. According to the National Association of Home Builders, the estimated one-year impacts of just 100 rental apartments being built in a typical local area include $12 million in local income, $2 million in taxes and other revenue for local governments, 161 local jobs. The additional annual recurring impacts of building 100 rental units include nearly $3 million in local income, $500,000 in taxes and other revenues for local government, and 44 ongoing local jobs. Investing in housing construction will actually save California money over time. According to a 2015 study by the Economic Roundtable on Homelessness in Santa Clara County, they also did the same study in Los Angeles County, Mr. Chairman. The estimated cost to the public permitting homeless residents to remain homeless was $62,473 per person annually. Now, they studied over 100,000 people who are homeless over a 10-year period, and they actually figured out the total governmental cost of all sectors of government, and it came out to $62,473 per person annually. Now, the estimated cost of the average cost of housing was $19,767 annually, a reduction of $42,000 annually in terms of saving government that much money. The cost of housing in lower cost areas would not be as high, but it would be similar kinds of savings. Another, the Los Angeles study, which was the same thing, a long-term chronically homeless, found that the public cost to the taxpayer reduced by 79% when the chronically homeless are housed, and 50% when the entire homeless population is housed. Additionally, according to California Housing Partnership Corporation, every 70 cents invested in affordable housing can help leverage $3 in federal funds. The money doesn't go to California unless we put the money up to invest in. This bill will have a relatively modest impact on California's debt service. According to the Department of Finance, the total general fund revenues of $121 billion, and we have a total debt service right now of $7.89 billion. Assuming the 3% interest rates, this will be $152 million in additional debt service per year. And that's if you sell all the bonds all at once, which doesn't happen. These bonds are sold over time. They're not sold all at once. They'll be sold similar to Proposition 1C, the last bond, which were sold over an 8-year period. If you had a high-end estimate of 5%, the debt service would be $195 million a year. It only increases the debt service by 0.15%. The bond will not on its own solve the housing problem in California, but investment in these existing programs is a critical piece of the solution. The time for action is now, and at the appropriate time, I request and I vote. Thank you. We have witnesses, too.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Karen Lang on behalf of Mayor Edwin Lee for the City and County of San Francisco, the City of Santa Monica, and the County of Sonoma. For all of the reasons that the author outlined about the urgent need for additional resources to address housing affordability in these communities, we ask for your aye vote when the suspense file is considered later. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Kendra Harris with the League of California Cities. We're pleased to support this important measure, and as it gets considered on suspense, we ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, Helene Meshar on behalf of the City of West Hollywood. We see this as an investment in housing, critically needed housing, and would ask for your support and have it come off suspense. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
We don't have a position on this bill. As Senator Bell mentioned, debt service would depend on the interest rate and sort of whether the bonds are issued at once or what the sort of schedule is for issuing the bonds. Right now, we've done a preliminary estimate that debt service on $3 billion in general obligation bonds would be approximately $184 million per year for 30 years. And that model is based on a 4.5% interest rate for 30 years for a total cost of $5.52 billion over the life of the bond.
Okay. Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, Senator Bell, would you like to close?
Thank you. I believe if we look at the last bond, which was about $3 billion passed in 2006, and it created, we have the records, it's created about 92,000 housing units. The revenue from those 92,000 units to local governments in terms of property tax, the sales tax, the job creation, I would argue that more than balances out the cost of debt service on these bonds from a fiscal standpoint. These are not just bonds sold for public programs, but they're sold for an investment that California truly needs, housing. And it's a wise investment, and it's more than fiscally responsible. I urge and I vote on this at the time.
Thank you. Without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Members, we're going to move right along our agenda. For those members that have waived presentations, we're still waiting on Senator Mitchell and Senator Pan. We're moving on to Senator Pavley's items, SB 886. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
No file. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to Senator Hill's items, SB 1028. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
The PUC indicates that the workload associated with implementation of this bill will require $618,000 for 4 positions to review and act on each plan submitted, and a minimum of $250,000 per year in contracting fees to hire fire mitigation consultants for at least the first year of implementation. However, we would note that this bill authorizes the PUC to contract with an independent third party to evaluate wildfire mitigation plans or to conduct the audits and inspections authorized by this bill, and to require electrical corporations to reimburse any related expenses. Consequently, we think that PUC's estimate may be overstated if third-party contractors are utilized in the long term.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to SB 1039, Senator Hill. Witnesses in support.
Jennifer Simoes with the Medical Board of California. We support the provisions related to the Board of Podiatric Medicine. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to Senator Allen's item, SB 1043. Witnesses in support.
Ed Behrens on behalf of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors in support of the bill.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Senator Pan is here. Are you presenting on SB 1189? Okay, who is that? Okay. So we're going to move on and see if we can get Senator Jackson to come to committee. Moving on to Senator Wessel's item, SB 1074. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
No file. Comments or questions from committee?
Mr. Chairman, a quick question. Our analysis suggests this should go to a policy committee. It wasn't heard there. Could you respond to that?
Let me check.
I'd like to note that for the record. It was referred directly from rules to appropriations without a policy hearing.
Okay. Madam Vice Chair, our consultant explains that this is a direct appropriation of an existing program, so rules sent it directly to the fiscal committee.
We'll lay off. It doesn't specify what the funds are going to be directed specifically to, which is some information that would come out of policy committee, but I think we'll lay off until we get it.
Okay. Thank you. Without objection, we move this. If there's any other comments or questions from committee, without objection, we'll move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to Senator Stone's items, SB 1104, witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition.
Samantha Corbin on behalf of the California Tax Reform Association in opposition to this measure on fiscal grounds. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses in support. Finance.
The Department of Finance is opposed to this bill because it creates an ongoing $37.8 million Proposition 98 general fund cost due to the increase in veterans' property tax exemption.
Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to Senator Stone's SB 1148. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition.
Samantha Corbin on behalf of the California Tax Reform Association, also in opposition to this measure on fiscal grounds. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance.
We're opposed to this bill as well due to significant general fund losses. The Franchise Tax Board estimated that this bill, as amended on April 25th, would result in an annual revenue loss of $41 million in 16-17, $27 million in 17-18, and $28 million in 18-19. Subsequent amendments lowered the AGI limits and the deduction amounts, and so they'll decrease the estimated revenue loss, but we don't have revised estimates yet.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing and hearing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to Senator Wojciechowski's item, SB 1170. Witnesses in support. Witnesses support. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dave Ackerman, representing the Associated General Contractors, the sponsor of the bill. We will be doing amendments to reflect any possible state cost on the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition.
Ed Behrens on behalf of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors in opposition.
Thank you. Finance.
No file.
Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to my last two items, SB 1374. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
We think that the costs to this bill are minor and absorbable.
Interesting. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to SEA 1, witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
No file.
Comments or questions from committee? Without objection, we move this item to the suspense file. Senator Jackson and Senator Pan are here. Dynamic duel for this Monday morning.